one and all. This is my review, reaction, and cut content discussion of Dr. Stone's Science Future Part 2, Episode 1. And holy mother of God, that is certainly a mouthful, but I am so excited for Part 2 because if I'm right, Part 2 is going to end on what I believe to be the greatest arc in this entire series. Seriously, I cannot wait. I cannot freaking wait for that. Though admittedly it is a bit weird to start off this season by saying, I can't wait for it to end. Still though, the opening, beginning, those are going to be fun too, as, you know, let's not forget we ended up part 1 with Senku kidnapping Dr. Zeno and planning to basically play keep away with Stanley, the most dangerous man on the planet who has a very strong obsession with Zeno. Oh no! So yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a rough ride for him. So excited to see it. Also, just before I get started, I do want to say I'm recording on an entirely new computer today. I spent the last hour messing with OBS trying to get all the settings right. I think it still looks a little blurry, a little red, but if there's any complaints you have, please let me know down below, and I'll work on fixing those before the next video. But alright, so enough talking. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Oh, before I begin though, I should mention we are starting in the manga on chapter 170. That being said, nothing like this happens in the manga, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. My best bet is this is a flashback to Zeno as a kid, maybe with Stanley, building some crazy things, though this is, this looks like a... Yeah, this looks like a death gun. This looks like absolutely like a death gun, so if Zeno was building this as a child, I am very much concerned for everything about him, honestly. That is 100% a death gun that he's gonna fire into a pumpkin. Yeah, you know, this is the kid that you are really, really concerned about growing up. Holy God above. Okay, no, I thought that was like maybe teen Zeno. No, this is little itty bitty baby, like maybe 8 years old Zeno building a gun by himself. That is terrifying. That is absolutely terrifying. Where are this child's parents? Seriously, parents, you are being very neglectful of your child. Also, you're apparently giving him the resources he needs to build a death gun. Just saying. Okay, well he missed, but that was still a very terrifying projectile right there. He is so itty-bitty and so adorable. Again though, building a death gun, that's very concerning. And of course, oh God above Stanley. Oh, I love it, I love it. Yeah, so, you know, rather than his smoking habit, he has a lollipop habit. Oh, he is so adorable, I love him. Also, I really hope this is like their first meeting and Stanley just walks up with this kid with his death gun and he's like, oh, I can fire that better for you. Again, a terrifying combo right here. Where are these kids' parents? Yes, Zeno. Who made this death weapon? Was it you? And if so, I need your parents' number so I can call CPS on them. It's a rail gun. A rail gun. Are those even real? Like, I hear about them all the time in science fiction, but seriously, are they real? You're a weird kid, Zeno. I'm just gonna say this. You're a very weird kid. You're like 8 years old, and you're focusing on quantum mechanics, 10 quintillionth of a millimeter, the deep secrets of the universe. You're a weirdo. You're 100% a weirdo. I'd say you're even weirder than Senku is. Science is elegant! Science is elegant! Oh, he is adorable though. Yes! So this is their first meeting! Stanley literally comes across a kid building, an 8-year-old kid building a ray gun and is just excited to fire it, not at all concerned. I love it. I love these two. Yeah, also the entire flashback, fully anime original. Fully anime original. Though it is a great way of showing off how, Zeno and Stanley met and how they are basically like Senku and Taiju. The same thing, a muscle man who wants to help their science guy unlock greater and greater mysteries of the universe.
ようやく起き上がったが。
Finally awake. Did you knock him unconscious? He was awake before. He was awake when you kidnapped him. Did you knock him out at some point during that? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, I gotta say, not a big fan of the opening, but it gave us a shot of Best Girl right here, and I'm so excited to see her. Oh, I can't wait. Alright, so the opening was, I think, pretty mid. I really prefer the OP of part 1 more. I mean, that's such a great beat to it. I danced literally every time when it went off. This one was not a fan of the music. I love that we got to see Best Girl. One of Best Girls. This series has a lot of Best Girls. But that's really about it.
今後の方針を明確化させる。
I love the fact Ryu just so calm, cool, and collected while they are literally on the run from Stanley and his platoon of well-trained killers.
俺たちが置かれている状況の確認。
You are running away from a group of well-trained killers. That is your current situation.
コーンシティ限定で一時停戦の協定が成立。
Seriously, a temporary ceasefire using the hostages. The plan is literally like, okay, well, you kidnapped a bunch of our people. We're going to kidnap your leader. So therefore, neither side can really hurt the other one, because if they do, then we would just hurt those hostages. So that is some sort of peace, I guess. That honestly feels like more like mutually assured destruction. Basically like, well, we're not going to launch nukes, because if we do, then we know you're going to launch nukes, and then we're all going to die. That's what it feels like, honestly. Yeah, Kohaku, you are certainly right. Again, being chased by killers, and they're all just so excited. Also, importantly, they're standing next to Hyoga. Hyoga, the man who has tried to kill a good number of them at least once. And they do not have a care in the world. I absolutely love it. This is one for one of my favorite shots from the entire manga. And the animators are like, yeah, we know it's sideways. We're just gonna fully rotate him to get in the shot exactly how it looked. Again, I've said this many times while watching this anime, but the creators just really clearly looked to the manga for inspiration. They really looked and said, okay, we know what the fans like. We are going to follow this one for one. Add in some fun stuff, but really just emphasize the great scenes, the great moments, the great shots that the series is known for. And yes, I was so focused on the shot there, I kind of ignore the fact that Zeno apparently knows there's a man on the moon who is behind all of this and is trying to petrify them all. Oh no! Though that's not all that surprising. I mean, the dude's literally shooting down, radio waves from space again and again, trying to petrify everybody. So it shouldn't be all that surprising that, Zeno picked up on them. Zeno has a giant city up and running with a whole cornfield and a lie detector and a submarine. Of course, he has a radio antenna. In fact, we saw him using a radio antenna with a scrambler so that nobody else could read his signals. Again, that was another one-for-one shot from manga, same chapter of it, with all these scientific formulas and everything, as they're having this big grand discussion about the elegance of science and trying to figure out, okay, what exactly do we know? What can we actually figure out by pooling our knowledge together? I mean, she's right, but at the same time, holding up a hand to a guy waving a gun at you is kind of an insane move. Just saying. And they did sign a peace treaty. They also kidnapped your leader, so you might want to be just like a little bit nicer to them, just saying. And he backed down. Dude actually backed down. That is how intense this girl is. Jinro is hiding because, of course, he's freaking hiding. And Matsukaze decided to somewhat fake an injury so he could go find him. I mean, I say somewhat because that dude has lost a lot of blood because, he was freaking shot, but still. Again, it's not really sneaking in when you are actually badly wounded and won't be able to do much if you do sneak in. I'm just saying. Again, they're like putting on the waterworks here. The dude has been shot. You can clearly see how much blood he's lost. I don't think that's really all that necessary. Again, Matsukaze, this is the master you've decided to serve. This is the man that you are willing to literally lay down your life to protect. It's honestly sad. It is honestly sad how much faith this man has in Jinro when Jinro is nowhere near worthy of it. I mean, he has his moments. He definitely has his moments, but no, dude. He wasn't trying to spy, wasn't trying to do anything. He was literally just trying to hide. And things probably would have gone much, much better if, you hadn't stayed on board and just let yourself be caught instead. I'm just saying. Matsukaze has been shot, and like I keep saying, very badly wounded. Very, very badly wounded. Yeah, I mean, this dude, loyal as they come. You can literally tear off his limbs and he will not betray his master. He will not betray Senku. He will not betray anyone he considers to be a friend/ally. Find Jinro, torture him. He'll surrender in all of 5 seconds. And of freaking course, Jinro ruined everything. The sad part is, if he had, like, any level of, geographical knowledge, he could have tricked them. He could have said, oh, they're going to Alaska to get oil. They're going back to Japan. They're doing this. They're doing that. Nope. He just straight up tells them they're going to South America, the place they are, in fact, actually going to. Come on, Jinro. Now is the time to lie. And it was also just like a full and complete bluff, as this gun is actually a lighter, which feels like such a fully insane thing to have. A gun that is a lighter. It's like you're asking for things to go badly here. In fact, I think in the George of the Jungle movie, deep cut right here, there is a scene where the bad guy mixes up his lighter, which looks like a gun, with his actual gun and shoots George with it. So yeah, bad idea. Oh, Tsukase. Yeah, right here, I think this is the moment all faith he has in his master just fully crumbles to dirt. Okay, he's still happy that his master would, sacrifice himself to save him. He's like, yes, in fact, this is a master I should serve, someone who's willing to go so far for my sake. Yeah, this is kind of a depressing moment for Xena right here, because, well, I wouldn't really call Byakuya, Senku's father, his friend. He's someone that he was, in fact, rather close to and did care about to a certain degree. So finding out that he's been dead for literal thousands of years, that is certainly a slap to the face for him. Yeah, you can see that right there. You could see, as was talking to him, he was smiling. It's kind of like a, arrogant little smile, like, haha, I'm so much better than you. But at the same time, he did enjoy his company, so he's not happy that he's dead. Love this shot in the manga so much. As, Senku's father is literally, like, connecting Senku with Zeno through the efforts, through everything he did thousands of years ago. He has forged the path that has allowed these two to meet right here, right now, in this moment, and to collaborate, to find a solution, to find a way to save the world, even if Zeno is still kind of trying to kill Senku. Just saying. I do want to point out that there is a really interesting shot. The opening shot of this chapter is Luna and Kohaku having tea together, and Luna is very clearly giving Kohaku a bit of side-eye, like, should I be worried about this girl coming after my man? It's just so amazing. I love it. Yeah, Luna, this is, in fact, the other woman. This is your competition. If you want to win Senku's heart, you'll have to find a way to defeat Kohaku. Best of luck with that. He He's not nervous. He wants to be in the room. He wants to be there. This is the most important scientific discussion that has literally happened in the last 1,000 freaking years. And he's not in the room. Him, the future scientist, the man who actually managed to out-science Zeno a little bit in the last arc. He wants to be in the room. The room where it's happening. The room where it's happening. I'm sorry. Couldn't help myself. So, yeah, he's going to find a way in. And here it is. Here it is. The most, like I said, the most important scientific discussion with the two greatest scientific minds of the entire world. What could they possibly be talking about behind that closed door? Clearly, it must be Zeno writing down notes with his mouth, because that is so utterly scientific. Again, 1 for 1 from the manga. Absolutely love it. This is what, Chrome walks in on. Them playing with bubbles, because, of course, they're freaking playing with bubbles. Let's not forget, Zeno tried to kill Senku, like, a month ago, and they just kidnapped Zeno, and now they're seemingly all buddy-buddy and playing with bubbles instead of doing important scientific research.
てかゼノの名はねえし。ああ、これ終わるまでだ。逃げ足。
Really, what is Zeno gonna do if he's untied? Exactly. He's got like those claws. I don't think they're particularly sharp or anything. They aren't like Ibarra's claws. So it's not like he's gonna stab Senku in the back or something. I mean, even if he finds a way off the ship, he's still in the middle of the ocean, and help is a good couple hours away. It makes way more sense for him just to stick around and wait for rescue to show up.
Oh, elegantな出来だ.
And of course, it turned out really elegant. Yes, it did, because, I mean, actually, wow, that is seriously an impressively well-detailed globe. Good for you, man. Seriously good for you.
確かに城とかやべえの建ててたし。
Yeah, Chrome brings a very good point here. Senku is all about efficiency, making things that work, where Zeno has a certain flair to him. He enjoys things that look fancy and insane and just awesome. In a lot of ways, he's more of a kid than Senku is.
誰から見ても客観的に同じ現象が再現されるということ。客観的に。
Yeah, that's all of science right there. You can't just produce a result and say, here, I did this thing. You need to show the step-by-step instructions every bit of the way. So that way, if someone else does the same experiment with the same steps, the same material, and the same time frame, they'll produce roughly similar results to what you got. And if they don't, that means you did something very, very wrong. Or there was some outside confounding variable that neither you or this other person were aware of.
あれば温度差でスターリングエンジンぶん回して発電し
Right there, Senku and Zeno say, if we found out ghosts were real, we would turn them into a perpetual motion device. We would enslave the dead to solve our energy crisis. These two are nuts. Spirit energy! That is actually elegant!
俺が石化した時刻は真っ昼間の12
Seriously, Senku knows not only the exact minute he was turned to stone, but the exact second. 12:40 and 20 seconds. And he remembers that, what were we, like 6 years later? He still remembers.
先空たちを覗きに行ったきり。
Oh, Kawaku, you're about to be disappointed too. Yeah, really. More bubbles. Oh, I love it. I love Zeno on his hands and knees helping perfect the model. It is somehow so adorable.
膨らむ間
That's the big thing that, they learned. The petrification beam moves at a consistent speed. It increases size at a consistent speed. It means they can use that to figure out exactly where it came from, considering the distance between them and all that.
てめえが見つけたそれもアホほど終わりがてえ再現性だ
Even Zeno is praising him right now. Like, yeah, Chrome, good job. You actually did it. You actually did something useful here in this very important scientific discussion with Bubble.
なら光の高さは目視だが2万メートル
Chrome did something smart. He showed that he's actually paying attention. He actually knows what he's talking about, but then was just completely left behind as they race forward with scientific calculations that he can't even begin to understand.
一人じゃたぐることすらできなかった問いも
think another really great metaphor for just the scientific, process. It's not something any one person can do on their own, but by combining the expertise and experiences of different people, you can make shocking discoveries. Here, if you just had Senku, if you just had his rough estimates, you won't be able to figure out exactly what you're looking for. Because you have Zeno too, who also remembers the angle and everything like that. That's 2 points, which they can trace to an exact moment, and that's it. The exact GPS coordinates of the start of the petribeam. I just think I looked that up when this chapter of the manga first came out, and it was like a gas station or something, which I found so hilarious. But yeah, that is it. That is where it all began, and that is where they can hopefully find the key, find the answer to all the questions they have about the source of the petribeam. What is there? An alien species, a secret government lab, a hole in space and time, a Cthulhu-esque alien monstrosity? What is waiting for them there at that point? Yes, as they are literally racing across the Earth to try and reach South America first. I mean, it does help that, while Jinro did rat out where they're going, South America is a fairly large place. So they still have at least Senku and his team are the only ones to know the exact location of it. Not saying Jinro to mess things up, but maybe not all that bad. But alright, so this episode, we had the first actual meeting between Senku and Zeno as they combine scientific powers, Chrome helped too, to figure out the exact source of the petribeam blast. Now if they go there, hopefully they can find out, what the freak happened all those years ago. Of course, we also have, Stanley and his crew thanks to Jinro, so that's bad. I mean, it is, like I said, a team of well-trained assassins going after Senku, whose best fighter would be Tsukasa, a man who can swing a sword really well and kill a lion with his fists. Don't think that's going to be all that helpful against a bunch of guns, but hey, we'll see what happens with that. And of course we had the big bubble party with Senku and Chrome and Zeno. It's just so adorable. Seriously, I do love that these two are essentially enemies, but they are uniting over their shared love of science in this moment to figure out something that neither of them could figure out on their own. And next week, we will start to see the fruits of their efforts as they move forward to that exact GPS coordinate in South America. Can't wait for that. Please think about all this down below. Watching the episode, what do you think of Zeno and Senku working together? Can Zeno be trusted? Can Jinro be trusted? What's going to happen when Stanley catches up with them? And what do you think of my recording setup right now? Is light okay? Is the sound okay? Is the video quality okay? Let me think of all this down below. And until next time, peace!